Hi guys, welcome back to our channel. We're back and we're actually back to do a mukbang, which I hope that's the way you say it. And we're so excited because we're having one of our favorite foods, which is Hawaiian food, which we're really obsessed. Ew, how many times can I say which? And yes, it's one of our favorite local Hawaiian spots here in San Diego, and we'll show you guys a peek.
So good.
They give you so much for $10. I eat off of this for like a whole day, throughout the whole day. Yeah.
Super good.
So
you should describe what you, because
Yeah.
Jessie usually orders, like I always forget what I ordered because I just recently started kind of liking it. So she'll order for me.
Yeah.
But
So I ordered us the volcano chicken, barbecue beef, 2 scoops of macaroni salad for me, and 1 scoop of white rice. Yeah, so good. And this isn't just a mukbang. We have some pretty funny story for you guys that we have to share. And honestly, there's some pretty good throwbacks.
we should dig in and give them the first look of us being so happy when we're eating this.
I know. I should have this up so I won't get dirty. So good.
Oh my god, I feel like those thingies where you have the microphone.
Oh, I know. We should have one. I'm like making all sorts of weird noises.
Like in the inappropriate one. I watched a meme and it was a girl doing that, but I didn't really understand it, but they were saying it like inappropriately, like she was making inappropriate noises.
I know. Just the way she eats is kind of funny too. I don't think I even want to tell like a story time right now. I just want to eat.
And I was so hungry. Okay. Obviously the chicken is always so good, but the beef, I forget sometimes how it tastes.
It's super good. I'm obsessed with their macaroni salad.
Oh my gosh, so we went to the store and we were picking this up and Jessie was like, oh my god, the Thai tea sounds so good. And I'm like, why don't you just get one? Jessie's like, we're not at a Thai restaurant. And I was like, oh, it's Hawaiian, right? Hawaiian food? I was like, oops, my bad. And this is actually really good too, the
macaroni salad? Yeah, it's so good. It mixes well with everything. Okay.
Wait, do you mix everything? I feel like when I get the meat, I have to have rice. But I can't get the meat and have like the macaroni salad.
I'll get the rice with like the beef.
Okay.
Yeah. Should we start our stories? Okay.
I'm gonna go ahead and start us off. Okay, so my nephew, when he was younger, he was like super little crazy, super active kid. And he had like this time where he would love to touch your lips. So he would grab like his fingers and he'd like be rubbing your lips, blah, blah. But there was a part, like I didn't mind that, but there was a time where he would like grab his fingers and like touch his belly button. And oh my god, when he would touch your lips, I don't know, my nephew's belly button would smell so terrible. And he would come over here and like put his freaking fingers, and I'd wanted to vomit a couple of times.
It was so gross.
Because it was really bad, and then the smell would kind of like stay there. So you would literally have to go wash that section, and even if you washed it, I don't think that it would all come off. And one day we had family over, and like I noticed my nephew touching his belly button constantly, and I'm like, I told Jessie, I'm like, no, like if he comes to you, like don't pay attention to it because he's touching his belly button. Don't let him touch your lips. So my little brat nephew he like looked at us and he gave us like a little dirty look, and he goes over to my aunt and he was obviously touching his freaking belly button, and then he was going like that towards like her lips, and then she said in Spanish like, "Oh, my precious child." She grabbed the lips and like kissed him with her lips. She's like,
full lip.
Oh my god, I literally wanted to vomit, because I'm like, imagine the stench that she's gonna have now because of my nephew. And he knew what he was doing, because we had told him like, don't do that anymore. Like, it's not okay for you to be going around touching people's lips after you touch your belly button. And he looked at us like he knew what he was doing. And then after that, he was cracking up, and I'm like, you're so nasty. Like, that is so disturbing. But he was like, at that time, he was like 3 or 4 years old.
He literally ran back with such an evil laugh. Like, he knew 100% what he had done.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was so funny.
We were cracking up last time because we were remembering. We're like, how could my nephew do that? Like, he was evil. Like, me and Jessie were cracking up. So that's one story, and Jessie has several really good stories as well. Oh.
Und I'm done chewing. Okay. Well, this other story is actually pretty embarrassing, and I might be laughing while I tell the story. I'll try not to laugh so I can tell the whole story. But, okay, this was back when I used to work at this store. So I worked there about 3 years ago. So this was about 3 to 4 years ago. And my whole family had left, and I think there was only 2 people that were supposed to be staying there that weekend, and it was my brother, my sister, and my dad's best friend. So no one was home. Everyone, half the family had left, and then everybody else was working. And I went to my parents' room because for some reason I've always had a thing that I like to nap in their room when they're not home.
We always do that.
Yeah, like it just brings me comfort. Like I'll fall asleep right away. So I went to go take a nap in their room.
Comfort.
Yeah, so I went to their room. I fell asleep probably like an hour to 2 hours, and I woke up to a very quiet house. And I was playing on my phone. And then I heard someone in the kitchen. I was like, what the heck? Like, who's home? I thought I was home alone. And so that noise got louder. And I realized that that noise was actually really inappropriate. Someone was in the kitchen watching porn. Okay? And I was like, what the heck? Like, do they not know I'm home? Like, I mean, put some earphones on? Like, I don't know. Don't do it, like, in the kitchen, like, full on. Especially if it's not your house. So anyway, at this point, I did not know that it was my dad's best friend yet. So I walked over just to take a peek, just to see who it was. And to my surprise, it was my dad's best friend
so
watching
awkward.
full-on porn on his phone. And oh my gosh, I was so disturbed. I ran back into my parents' room and I slammed the door. And I slammed the door on purpose. That way he could like realize that someone was home and he can at least turn the volume down or like be embarrassed and go back to his room or something. And I mean, my plan worked. Like, he stopped watching it and he went back to his room, but it was so bad. I was disgusted.
But
like,
he was just watching, right?
Yeah, he was just watching. Like, I didn't see anything else.
Okay.
It's just
Oh
that
my
I
God.
took like a quick peek. Like, I didn't, you know, stay for too long because it was really disturbing. But that's one story. And I haven't told, well, how awkward would it be for me to tell my dad? I never told my dad or my mom. I think the only one that I told was my sister Jackie. And
I know everyone.
I think I told Claudia, our other sister, as well, but I'm not sure. But yeah, that's a really gross story. Embarrassing for him, gross for me.
But remember, I don't know, well, I don't know if I've told you this before, but like, maybe that was a time because I remember him telling my brother, oh, can you take me to like Best Buy? I need to buy some earphones. So it was probably right after that he's like,
Yeah,
I
he's
need
like,
to.
screw that.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
But why in the kitchen? Like, he had his spot where it was like private, and he had his bed there. Like, why not just watch it there? Why go to the kitchen? Like, is it gonna echo or
Something about the kitchen is what he liked.
That is so wrong.
Maybe he was grabbing the olive oil.
Ew! I thought holding on to the table.
Ew!
That doesn't make sense. Oh my gosh. Okay, we have a lot of stories. We have to move on to the next one.
This is so good. Like, I'm super enjoying this.
Ew.
And I'm like, oh, are you okay?
I need some water.
So, next story, it's not as funny and quite disturbing as Jesse's, but Jess and I were remembering a couple of, like, let's say like 2 weeks ago, we were remembering how, like, being, like, having brothers, they're not exactly our age. We have 2 older brothers. One is 5 years older and the other one is 4 years older than me. So I was more closer to them, and we always kind of grew up being like, well, I was more of like, they were the only ones I could play, so whatever they would do, I would do. And if there came to a stage where Jesse kind of grew up, and I love playing Barbies. And this is like a secret of mine, but I literally played Barbies up until I was like, I think a freshman in high school. Because I love Barbies. Like, I would love to play Barbies. Like, I fucking loved it. And then I would tell you, I would be like, oh, Jesse, you want to play Barbies? And we would play. But at that time you were like 10, kind of. So, I mean, it's not bad for you, but I remember that I was so embarrassed. And, like, another time that I also remember that I regret, like, my mom would pick us up from high school, and I was already in high school, and then my mom's like, what do you guys want to eat? And I always wanted a fucking Happy Meal. Like, all the time. But then I felt so awkward because I'm like, I don't want the toy, I'm old. But then I still wanted the freaking Happy Meal. I'm like, okay. Well, anyways, going back to that, like,
that was like 2 stories in one.
That was so many. My brother was so evil, guys. Like, my brother would grab all of my Barbies and remove the heads off of it. Even the brand new Barbies that I would get, like, he would totally remove the head, or he would cut the hair off and just leave them bald.
Oh my god.
And I would get so upset, and I would tell on my mom, and I was like, Mom, like, he did that again. He did it again. Like, I hate when he does that. And he would always do this to my Barbies, and since I loved to play Barbies up until, like, when I was like 15 or 16, like, he kept doing that, and I remember that would torture me from him.
15 or 16.
So pissed.
I'm like 15 or 16. That's funny.
And I loved it. I don't know why. And I probably had a Ken by then too.
Was that the end of your story?
Oh,
okay. So, I'm next. The next story, I don't know why mine are like...
Yours are crazier.
Freaking crazy. Like, kid crazy, I guess. But, my next... I put my food down for this. Let me take a sip of my water. Shit about to go down. Okay, so this next story... I was in 5th grade, and I remember that at this point I started to shop at Tilly's, and Jack and I love to shop at Tilly's, and our mom got us the exact same sweater. It was a black hoodie, and in the back it had an S, and the S was for the brand, which I believe was Split. But when people would ask me, like, oh, what does the S stand for? I would say the beginning of our last name. And so, yeah, that's what we I would say, sorry, I totally had a brain fart. And, okay, so anyway, blah, 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 blah. Backtracking a bit, I would wear that sweater every single day to school. And
me too. I was so obsessed with it.
Yeah, one day I was playing and recess had just ended. I was walking back to my class, and then this boy that would always bug me came up to me, and he was like, "Oh, what does the S that's on your sweater stand for?" And I was like, "Oh, that stands for my last name." And he's like, "No, it doesn't stand for that. It stands for suck my pussy." So awkward. Okay, I don't know why I'm so awkward at saying that. I'm like 26 years old. But
the kid was like,
yeah,
how old
like,
were you guys?
I was in 5th grade, so how old are you in 5th grade? You're like
9,
10? Yeah, so you're like 10, and he's like, it stands for that. And I was like, oh my god, I was so pissed. And I was like this innocent child, like, I would not even say that word. And I was like shook that this guy had told me that. And it was like this like tiny little short guy. And anyway, I went running back to my teacher, and I was like, I remember her name, well, her last name, Mrs. Brown. And I was like, Mrs. Brown, this blah, 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 blah kid told me that my sweater stands for suck my pussy. And, oh my gosh, the look on her face, she got rage in her eyes. Like, you could just see she got so angry. She got up and she was like really mean to that kid, and she sent him to the principal's office. And yeah, I was a tatty tail.
That?
Yeah, and I was like, yeah, I was a tatty tail, but like, he offended me. He does not know how to talk to a woman or a 10-year-old girl at the time. But yeah, that was like super bad. I remember that.
I feel like elementary is like you're super vulnerable to. I remember I was like, I think like 6 years old, and there was this super annoying kid, and he told me that he would love saying your mama jokes, and I would always ignore him because I'm like, that's bullying, like that's not nice. You shouldn't be talking about anyone's mom and be mean about it. And he once told me, he got mad at me because I think I told him like, you shouldn't be saying things about people's mom, and he's like, you shut up, your mom is a robot. And I got so hurt. Like, I'm like, my mom isn't a robot. She's real. And like,
she's real.
I got so like sad and upset. Like, I started crying. And like, I still remember that up to this day because I think it was a little traumatizing for me because I'm like, my mom, I defriended my mom so hard. I was like, my mom's not a robot. She's real. And I feel like at that age, I mean, I was definitely a mama's girl.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, don't talk about my mom because I would like cry and be super annoyed. But ew, I do like little stories in between. But another story of ours, another like crazy brother stories, like our brothers would always put me and Jesse to like test to do things. And I remember one time we went to go visit my grandma in Mexico, and my grandma had like these sheeps. And like, we were like, oh, how cute, the cute sheeps.
Well, remember we saw them riding them? Oh, shit.
We did.
We ran back there, but just to watch.
So my brothers would literally get on the freaking sheep and like ride them like if it was a horse. So me and Jesse, obviously, it's like our brothers, ooh, our role models, like we want to do what they do. Mm-hmm. So we were like, oh, how cool, like that looks so cool. And they're like, okay, you want to ride one? But like, we didn't really realize how hardcore they were, like those sheeps, because me and Jesse got on them. Like, one of my brother helped me, and then like the other brother helped Jesse.
Which, do you remember what you were wearing that day?
Yes, my white little, was it my white or my red ones?
I don't remember what you were wearing, but I remember what I was wearing. I was wearing some sweats that my mom had just bought me for the trip.
Oh, I think I was, no, red one was the other time. But I think you ripped it on, you cried because those were your favorite ones.
Because I fell off of the sheep. Do you want to keep telling the story, or should I continue on? No, okay, yeah. You
and then you can go back. Well, we ended up getting on top of the sheep, and my brothers, I think they kicked them, and they went, they went like crazy. Like, they kind of started off really intense. So like me and Jessie flew out of the sheeps, and that's when Jessie fell and like her favorite pants ripped.
But I stayed on there. Okay, this is evil, you guys. I wish I could have you guys look at my memory because this was hilarious.
I felt really quick, but you did
I stayed on like I was meant to ride horses.
You were crazy.
Yeah, so I remember this is like my version of it. I remember us walking over there just to watch them, like, you know, ride the sheep, and it got to a point that they were like, oh, you guys want to do it? And we're like, oh, okay. And I remember my two brothers helped me hop on top of the sheep, and I got on, and like I was holding on to the sheep, and it freaking, like, once they let it go, it ran, and it was like going on and running. And I remember
almost like a bull, right?
It was like
kicking and stuff.
Oh my gosh, yeah. It was like a fenced area. Well, yeah, fenced area. So it was like a square, and it literally like ran around the whole square. It was funny before I fell off. And I remember everyone was watching, and it was crazy. It was a good time. And then I fell off, and I didn't hurt myself, but I did fall pretty hard that I ripped the inside of my sweats. And I remember Mom got mad at me because she had just bought me those sweats.
And they were your favorite.
They were my favorite sweats. Oh my gosh, those are like all super good memories.
I know.
Aww.
Whenever I remember those things, I'm like, oh wow, the times, you know, like the kind of times that we're not gonna bring back, but they were like really fun, and obviously we're creating more memories now. So
I'm actually pretty full.
I know. I think I'm done too.
I'll show you guys just about how much I ate, which is not a lot, but they put a lot of food.
I ate a little more than you. I ate a lot more than you.
And actually, before we end the video, like, I have a tiny little story that I want to tell you guys. Kind of backtracking to the fact that Jackie told you guys that our brother would mess with her dolls. This has nothing to do with dolls, but just with that brother. I remember my mom had bought me a bike. She bought us both a bike. She bought her a bike and she bought me a bike. And I think first they messed up her bike, and then one day, and she cried to me about it. She cried to me about the fact that her freaking, my brothers had destroyed her bike. And then like,
because I think I was asking for a bike for like a really long time.
3 days later, there's my princess bike with the training wheels in the back. And I remember I wanted to go ride it, and I went walking towards it, and our house that we had before, there was like a big glass door so you could see outside, and I was walking towards that door, and I see my brother riding the bicycle with Jackie in the back, and it was ruined because they had broken the back. They took off the training wheels, and like, I don't know what exactly they did to it, but they ruined it.
Is that the time I fell and my brother burned my leg with the freaking bicycle tire?
And I remember I was crying for days because I didn't even get to freaking ride the bike without the training wheels. Like, I was so sad, and I still remember that. I think I was like 5. I was pretty young, but I should remind him that was an evil story. Evil story, that was an evil act.
They would always do those type of things. Like, they were just quite evil.
Oh my god, I
have remembered something also, but I totally spaced out right now. Now that you said that story.
I need water.
Oh, yes. Okay, so one story, and we'll be done because we finished our food anyway, but remember when me and Jessie would get in trouble, and like, we would come running because my mom was like, I'm gonna tell your dad what you guys did, blah blah blah. So me and Jessie would get so scared, and then we would go up to my brothers, because my brothers would always tell us that like, that my parents were gonna spank us. And my parents never laid a hand on us ever, but like, they told us to layer up on the pants because when they spanked, it was gonna be a hard spank. So here's me and Jessie like running around. So like, I don't even know why, I think we were running in circles. Yeah. And then like, me and Jessie put like 4 pounds just so we wouldn't get like, we wouldn't feel the pain. But my parents never hit us. Back then,
there was no jeggings. These were, we put on. Hi guys, sorry, we're back. We had a small glitch, but anyway, I was just saying that back then, jeans weren't like now, you know, that you wear jeggings, we're wearing thick-ass jeans.
Yeah, and on top of that, another 3 thick-ass jeans. So
yeah.
Pretty protected for no spank at all, so. Yeah, but that about wraps it up with our story time. Hopefully you guys liked it and you guys didn't find it too boring.
And hopefully you don't think this video is too long, or if you want longer videos, then we can make that work too.
Well, guys, I think everyone should have some Hawaiian food because we had it and it was so good.
Yummy.
And we'll see you guys back again with another next video. Bye.
Bye. So she said that she was full and she's still eating. Lies. By the way, you guys, do you like my eyeshadow today? Who thinks that they want a tutorial on this look?
Not me. Just kidding.
Have a great day, you guys. Bye.